reviewing the Precision Power PVN 702HB. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're new here, I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, kick your feet up, hang out for a while. We've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and I really appreciate that. I'm happy to have you guys hanging out with me and, following along with my projects. Now, if you guys remember back about, 5 months ago, I went ahead and put a Precision Power head unit in my Grand Marquis. I took out the old jalopy here. It worked. It wasn't great. I had a few things in mind when I put this in that I was really after. I was excited to get some GPS on there for some of our, travels and stuff like that. A few other options on it, which I'll go over here a little bit more as we go. But I figured it was a perfect time, now that I've had some seat time with it, a little time behind the wheel getting used to it, to give you guys an honest review of kind of what I think about it and what I think about all the features of it. Now, that being said, I know when I picked this thing up, it was a, budget-friendly option. We'll put it that way. But in my mind, for what I was getting, it was almost one of those too good to be true things. And you know what they say, if a deal's too good to be true, then, it might not be good-ish. Anyway, I've had some time behind the wheel with this thing. I've got to know it kind of inside and out, all the functions, features, everything, and I figured it would be a great time to share those opinions with you guys and, maybe help you decide whether this is something you'd be interested or not. So let's head out there. Now, I know this can be kind of a nitpicky thing, but the touchscreen is a little funky. Sometimes you really got to be slow and methodical about what you're doing. There, you can see it kind of freaking out. A lot of times what will happen is, I want to go over to the next page, and I'll do that, and it'll end up clicking on something else. Another thing that I have an issue with this is I don't know if it's in the programming of the unit or what it is, but you can see my clock here, and then you can see what time it registers on the unit. Now, I've tried changing this over and over and over, and what ends up happening every time is it is an hour off, and it changes from AM to PM. So it's a complete 180 of what the actual time is. And it'll hold it as long as the car's on, but as soon as I turn the key off and turn it back on, the time's changed to whatever it wants to change to. Well, now, just because it's acting up, I don't know if you can hear that. Let's turn it up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear the static in the background. The buzz. It changes along with the screen changing, and if I change apps on it, it also changes. Now, if you can hear the other noise in the background, let me amplify that a little bit for you. We'll get in the glove box, and we'll turn my bass knob up. I sure hope that's coming across. I would imagine so. Anyway, probably my biggest pet peeve so far with this thing is I can deal with, a little bit of static, a little bit of whatever. The car's not even running right now. There's no real electrical loads or anything weird on the car. I know what you guys are thinking. You probably have some feedback going to your sub, going to your amp. And, I've checked over everything. I've moved the RCAs, I've done this, I've done that, and tried to clean this up. I've added in some additional grounds. I've went through and double checked my ground at the amp and made sure I had a good clean connection. I've went through with the multimeter and double checked everything. Well, it's really going nuts now. And at the end of the day, I have all this noise. It's really obviously been apparent since I put the amp and sub in, because I have all this feedback noise on that circuit, and it just sits here and thumps away randomly, like right now, pretty quiet. And then all of a sudden it just starts going nuts. especially when I change apps on the unit. Now, speaking of, thank you, feedback. Now, speaking of apps, let's dive into those real quick. Now, if you guys remember when I first got this unit installed, one of the things that I was really interested in having in it, just because, you know, it's nice for trips, it's nice for stuff. I don't use it in my daily driving or anything, but, when you're taking a trip or going somewhere, it's nice to have, was the GPS. Now, after using the GPS a few times, instead of using the app on the unit, I just find myself using my phone. It's quicker, it's easier, it's, just everything about it works better. And it's very, very clunky. And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. All right, so first of all, if I want to go into the GPS, here we go, we'll click on it. Let's see, I need to get going somewhere, right? Yeah. Oh, for some reason, I am stuck in Garden Grove, Anaheim, Santa Ana. So I assume California somewhere. Well, that's not what I want. I don't want that. I don't want Alabama. I don't want whatever. It's city center of wherever. No, that's not what I want. Can I go back? Can I go back? Can I go back? Oh, I can go back here. Let's type in an address. I want to go. Oh, I can't. Let's go back. I want to go. No, that's no. No, that's I don't want to go to Alabama. Right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No. No. And now what do I do? Now where do I go? Okay. I'm just going to go home cuz that's way too difficult. Sorry about the sun there if that's getting at you. Let's just go to the map. Screw it. So now right off the get-go, the GPS is basically useless because I can't type in a destination. It just is stuck on whatever in the state of Alabama. It started off, I believe, in California, went to Alabama, and there's no way around that. You can see as we're just sitting here talking, this thing's like constantly switching around, doing, I don't know, trying to locate itself or trying to find the angle that it's in. I don't know what it's doing. As I start driving, that tends to go away. But everything on here seems kind of hit and miss and just doesn't really work well. Let's plan her out. Yeah. Yes. What do I want to plus? And we're back to here. So I can't put any of that in. So I can't plan her out. I can't pick a destination. I'm stuck in Alabama for some reason. And, yeah. You can see, like with this, that's why I say I think it's kind of app-based, because when you hit it, wow, what's this screen? It takes me out to some other screen. Now I have to go home. Now it takes me back to here. So that's the GPS basically is kind of useless in my mind. I figured when I got this thing, it was cheap. It would have some kind of finicky flaws and stuff like that. And I fully expected that, and I was ready to live with it. One of the things that, especially since I started upgrading the rest of the audio equipment in here, the speakers, putting the sub in, stuff like that, is really the sound control, which on paper, this thing should do fairly well. It's 300 watts, which sure, great, grand, wonderful. It has a EQ built in that sure, okay. It has subwoofer control. It has, kind of all the bells and whistles that I'd expect to be able to fine tune kind of the audio of this thing. Now, the problem that I run into is when I say this thing is kind of, I think, app driven, everything overlaps. So if I go into the main EQ and adjust everything, well, it'd be easier if I just show you. We'll flip this around again. All right, so we're back on the screen here. Let's see. I want to Nope, I want to go over. Yep, there we go. Let's go into setup here. Now if I go into audio, I go into EQ, it's on custom, great. You can see that's the curve that's on it right now. Yep, perfect. We'll roll with that. Now, here, we'll go back in here. We'll make this easy. Now, if I turn the volume up, you notice I also have an audio tab here. Let's go to that. Oh, weird, okay. Yeah, I can adjust bass and treble here. Well, let's adjust bass and treble. Let's see what that does. Yeah, okay. That's cool. Let's wait a second for that to go away. Let's go back in here. Wait, it's completely corrected my curve, and for no reason. Which I get that, changing those two sliders would probably change these, but why add it? Why have this control and an audio control here? I want to wang that up, I want to wang that up, and let's see what it does now. We'll back out of here, we'll go back in here, and it's changed it all again. Now, the rest of these aren't much better. The next one that I was going to go over was the whole phone link, phone mirroring thing, which was like, hey, that would be kind of cool. I did show that off in the video where I installed it, that I had my phone linked to it and mirrored, and you don't get full screen. You don't get any kind of control per se over what's on the screen. Which, hey, it is what it is. The thing that I wasn't too huge of a fan of was that I had to go to the App Store and download some app in Chinese that I couldn't read any of it, and basically give it full control over my phone, which I would kind of expect because, it's supposed to be able to, play and fast forward and run files off your phone and stuff like that. It kind of worked. It kind of didn't. And, not that I expected it to be some like Precision Power brand app or have the branding, but I did expect it to have some kind of audio branding of some kind, I guess. It was just in this day and age of weird random apps and scammers and stuff like that, it was very hokey to me, I guess, and it didn't really work. So, hey, whatever. The next couple things, I guess, is pretty simple ones. The radio doesn't work great. It loses signal, and, is it my car? Is it something else? I'm not 100% sure, but the radio, sometimes it works, sometimes it's just dead air. Doesn't matter where I'm at. It's just I have nothing and no sound output. So, I guess whatever. The CD player does work. It works about the best out of anything in this unit. I would assume the drive motor for the CD player or some of the mounting isn't spectacular because this thing is screaming when that CD's playing. Anyway, I thought it was interesting that you can hear the feedback some more there. With the sound, you saw me turn the sound control completely off, the volume control completely off for the sub earlier. I have my bass knob for it turned all the way off. That, yes, the amp is on, but is there any signal going to it? I don't know. I wouldn't think it would be making any noise because I have the volume on the head unit turned completely off. I'm still getting a little bit of weird static out of the speakers, and I'm getting weird static out of the sub. So overall, just kind of not really an enjoyable experience. It's more of a pain to use than anything. Everything's clunky on it. Oh, and I forgot to mention the remote, that everything faces up except down here is the actual, light, whatever deal to send the signal. So if you're looking at it and trying to push the buttons, you notice how I'm holding it here. I block that. So you literally, to even use the remote, you have to hold it upside down and point it directly at the unit. I've tried it. It's supposed to be a steering wheel mount. I've tried it like that, and the problem there is when you want to push a button, what do? you cover it up with your hand and push a button, so it never recognizes the signal. So to actually use it, I have to hold it inches away from the unit and push the buttons. So remote control, basically useless. So I guess overall, my thoughts. I should have stuck with the factory radio. I'm just going to say it. For the money I invested in this thing, I don't think it was worth it at all. We'll go over the list here again. GPS, totally useless. The Android phone link, which I thought would be kind of neat. Useless. Chinese app I can't understand, and just barely worked. Steering wheel remote control, useless. And the mobile phone remote control app, which I didn't even bother with, honestly, because it was another app that was in Chinese. I couldn't understand a word of it. Yes, I could have gone to the trouble of trying to translate it and do all that, but I just didn't trust it. So I already took a chance with the phone mirroring app that they had. I didn't want to download another app to run another function of this unit that didn't seem to work in the first place. So overall, CD, DVD playback, yep, that works. It's a little loud, but it works. The Bluetooth, it works okay. USB, sure. I did plug my phone into it and, see if I could upload pictures and stuff like that, sure. And then, the output on it, it's 75 watts by 4, okay? That doesn't do a lot of good when there's so much static and interference that the sound quality is total garbage. I had, honestly, better sound quality out of the factory stereo and factory speakers, and the factory speakers sound like crap. So the whole reason I did the last video, where I upgraded the speakers and the amp. So anyway, the moral of the story is precision power, doubled in DVD player. Why should I buy this thing? Well, if you're dead set that you need a doubled in with Bluetooth capability, sure, for the money, it was okay. If you're putting it on stock speakers and don't care about it getting loud, don't care about sound quality, sure, it'll be okay. If you have no intention of using any of the apps or the remote or any of that, yeah, it'd be great. But at that rate, why not just buy a single-in AM/FM CD player of name brand that's probably less money? So, to sum this thing up, I know exactly where this is going to go. I was just playing. I'm not actually going to throw it away. I'll keep it. I'll throw it in, some car I pick up at some point that I don't care about all those things. I don't care about the sound quality and all that. I just want to have a little bit nicer? That's a bad choice of words. I want to have a little bit fancier looking radio than just the factory one. It'll work great for that, just some cheap beater or something like that. But my solution to this issue was just to go out and do what I should have done in the first place and bought a better radio. For not a whole lot more money, I bought this Pioneer AVH 220EX. It was direct from Pioneer. It was a refurbished unit, hence no box, no nothing. I'm a big fan of going the refurbished route. You get a brand new unit direct from the manufacturer for less money. That, yeah, it had some issues at some point, but every company has issues with their products. It's nice to see that they take them back, they fix them, and then, they resell it to recoup a little bit of that. So a brand new unit direct from Pioneer, it's a refurbished. Again, will that bite me in the butt, kind of like this one? I don't know, but I've used Pioneers forever. Always had good luck with them. I kind of know what to expect with this thing. And, you know, yeah. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up pulling this precision power out of the car. I'm going to install this Pioneer unit, and, you know, I'll probably be happy with it. If it's anything like the Pioneer doubled in, basically this, but an older version that I have in the Explorer, I'll be happy with it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it helps you out, maybe helps you make a decision on what head unit you should or shouldn't run. I think this was more of a learning lesson for myself. You know, it's stay away from the cheap stuff, I guess. Kind of just a waste of money. Dang it. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I got a lot of work to do. I got to go install this Pioneer now and take this thing back out. So, like I said, if that's something you're interested in seeing, leave me a comment. Let me know, you know, if you guys have had experience with these. Or let me know what brands you guys are using these days. I don't know. I'm out of the loop. I'm kind of dipping my toes back into this car audio thing. I'm really enjoying doing it. If you guys are enjoying it, you know, leave me a thumbs up. And, yeah, I better go out and get to work. Hey, at least I didn't make a mess for this video. That's kind of awesome. Anyway, we'll catch you next time.